everybody. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing today? I'm sorry I'm late. I had to adjust the solo layout because Dani's not here. If you're not on Twitter, you know it's because she's in the tornado watch, which is so crazy because I actually am under like a thunderstorm advisory right now. And so yeah, the weather sucks, guys. Don't know a better way to say it, but hello, hello, hello. Everybody come on in. How are we doing, friends? The world sucks, I'll tell you that much, but at least professional wrestling is fun. Hey, chat. All right. This will be a short and sweet one, but let's go ahead and let's rock and roll. We kicked off. Well, first of all, obviously, no, I'll get to the Owen Hart Cup when we get there. But we kicked off Dynamite with the mixed tag match, which was Swerve and Willow versus Mox and Marina. Listen, mixed tag matches are just such a weird concept. Like, here's the thing. I 100% believe that it's, I don't know, like really sexist to do mixed tag matches and not let women, be able to be treated like the men in the sense like they can hit them and can't hit back, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is American wrestling television. I basically know that's kind of like what it is. And plus, it's really cool to see like top stars actually be in a mixed tag and be able to tag together. And I wish I think I tweeted this of I don't want like belts or anything, but it makes you think of like what if they actually like explored and like put something into this concept, so it's one of those things, but I really enjoyed at least most of it. Marina is not good, not good, not TV ready at all. I've seen she's done like some cool stuff on the indies, and I've seen like her revolver matches and stuff, but she's not, especially being in here with like really like world-class talent. She really felt like a fish out of water. But Willow Nightingale, listen, that was the performance of a lifetime. Willow was unreal, like just absolutely unreal. I think that's probably my only major criticism about the show today, other than commentary, because Dynamite commentary sucks and needs to be switched around. But my only major criticism is that I would have liked Willow to look stronger coming out of that, even though she got the pin. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think that Swerve and Willow made a great team. They really made me care, at least about their parts of like this Death Rider saga. And so shout out to them for that. Like they're doing real. That's what top stars really do. Top baby faces do. So I don't know. I was interested. John Moxley, I love you. Like I really do love Mox, and it's really, and I think that's why I'm so bothered right now. It's just like I don't even want you to go off TV. I know some people are like, oh, get rid of Mox and he's Dean Ambrose or so. I'm not saying none of that. I love John Moxley. I just need you to do something else. Anything else? Do something else, please. Just do something else. Anything else? Like Mox, please. You are in my all-time top 3. Please. I love you. Stop. But hopefully it's come to an end. Like I will say, like I thought that they were going to run like the mixed tag with Marina for the Coke feud, but when it was very clear that Marina was going to actually wrestle, I knew that they were only going to save that probably for the very end, and that's what it felt like. So that's what it feels like. Okay, we're at the end. And honestly, I'll just do the beginning and end like at the same time, since they're all connected. And so that happened. We had the updates throughout the show on Willow's condition. Then we get towards the end of the show. We main evented with Mox versus Cope. Listen, not Mox versus Cope, but Cope versus Claudia. I'm gonna be honest. I barely paid attention to the match. I was not into it. And Cope, I love you. You are in my all-time top 10, like my childhood favorite wrestler. But I'm gonna need you to grab that tag rope, player. I'm gonna need you to grab that tag rope. You gotta grab that tag rope. And it's not even the fact that he's not good. It's just more so it's just not what the company needs. I don't think it is what anybody's even looking for or asking for right now, him being a solos competitor. And I also think of, especially with the Metalingus singing and the way that the camera always like never after his matches are over, it never just cuts away. It has to follow him all the way to the back. Like, it's starting to feel like a bit of glory boating. And I don't want to feel that way, because I feel like he was doing such great work, like doing such great work. And I think that he still can do great work if he grabs that tag rope. I think that he could be an essential part of AEW TV. I think that he could be a captivating part of AEW TV. And I think that, I just need him to grab that tag rope. It's time. It's time. And I don't think that that's a demotion, right? Like, we saw later in the show how with like Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate, which I also have thoughts about, like, they're in the tag division and it feels like a big deal because they are who they are, right? But I need him to grab that tag rope before it's too late. Like, I think right now, like, I don't want to say like we're unsalvageable, because we're not. Like, we're still at a point where I think he can turn it around. But if too much more of this type stuff is going to like turn the audience off of him completely, and what you don't want is people thinking of Cope the way they think of Jericho. And honestly, Jericho is in higher regard right now, to be quite honest, because Jericho has found something that works for him, and he's actually, the talent put with him is actually being elevated right now. So, Cope, you don't want to be known as that guy, please. Yeah. But anyway, we had after that. Ooh, y'all, should I just tell me in the chat, should I save the Hangman Swerve stuff? Should I do it now? Should I save it for the end? Should I save it for the end? Should I talk about it now? Or should I save it for the end? Let me know. Because I have so many thoughts. Oh, save it, Chloe. Okay. All right. Both for save it. Okay, cool. After, so basically that's that part of the world title saga. And I'll talk about Hangman Swerve when I talk about the Owen Cup, because I'm going to save the Owen stuff for last. So that's basically what I'm going to do today. But I will say that Swerve needs to win. Swerve needs to win. Them attacking him at the end, take him out, putting him on the glass, him sitting up. Swerve needs to win. And I think, honestly, as a top guy, just knowing his position in the company, I'm not even sure he would have accepted to do this feud if he wasn't going to win. Swerve has honestly taken a lot of losses recently on pay-per-view. And I understand they might want to do like this arc of him and Hangman doing the same thing, but Hangman is winning. Winning and getting on a pay-per-view of Swerve. He put Bobby Lashley over. He put Ricochet over. It's time to strap him up. And I know that there are a few people who I saw saying, "Do you want Swerve to be a transitional champion? Do you want this? Listen, do you genuinely think? If you think of Swerve as a transitional champion, because it would be basically the same amount of time that it was last year, I think that's a you problem. If you saw what he did last year with that belt and you feel like he's a transitional champion, that's you. And I think also, too, you can't sit me here and tell me that Mox versus Darby or Hangman versus Mox or Ospreay versus Mox is more compelling with all this Desperado drama, is more compelling than what Swerve versus any of these guys could do. Swerve versus Ospreay, Swerve versus Hangman. Like, let's just be real. Correct, Jalen. Let's wake that up. Swerve was a transitional champion for this Death Rider story in the first place. It's actually only right that he ends it. The only reason the title was taken off of Swerve was to put it on Brian, because he was going to lose it anyway. It was already planned for him to lose it to Mox. Because guess what? If they wanted the belts up Derby, they would have done it. And the Death Rider's angle just did not pan out the way that it should. I don't know. I will say, Lauren, I see. Oh, well, I'll talk about that. I said I'm going to talk about the Owen later. I'm saving the Owen for last. But yeah, Swerve has to win. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell everybody. So do that, Toni Khan. I will say I'm going to my first pay-per-view watch party this weekend. And I've never like watched, I don't think I've ever like sat down with other people, like other wrestling fans, and watched a pay-per-view on television. Like I either watch it by myself when I'm at home, or I go to shows and like watch it with other people. And so I really feel like if Mox wins, it's going to be a record scratch, and it's just going to ruin everybody's night. So I would really need like that not to happen. Like if it ends like Revolution did, it's just not, no. After that, what was after that? Oh, we had, they announced the Owen Cups, but like I said, we'll get there. Well, I guess I have to talk about the Owen now. So they announced, at least for the men's side, I'll talk about part of it. For the men's side, first round, they announced that Kevin Knight, if you watch Collision, Kevin Knight is now All Elite. It's his first week of the company. Now, over here, huge Kevin Knight fan, from his work in New Japan, as a member of the Intergalactic Jet Setters. He's a two-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champion, and he's a graduate from the LA Dojo. He was trained by Shibata, and he essentially has springs in his feet. I don't know how he does it. He has the craziest drop kick I've ever seen. And for me personally, he was one of the first wrestlers that I ever wrote about. Like my first written piece, printed in print here, Lifting as We Rise, Black Wrestlers in Japan. One of the first people I ever interviewed. So fantastic guy, fantastic wrestler. It's actually really awesome that I feel like the thing is, a lot of people might say different things, but this is the truth. Juniors in New Japan are typically pigeonholed, especially if you're a babyface, and like all those guys, the foreigners, even the ones who came up through LA Dojo. Do you know that this week is the first time that any of these LA Dojo graduates have challenged for the top title in their division? This week, and that's Clark Connors challenging for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. That's it. It's been almost 5 years. No, yeah, he came in the dojo system in 2018. It's been 7. Oh my God. But that's the truth. 7 years, he should win. And so just put that into context in the sense of, no, there was no upward movement. New Japan isn't doing full-time contracts for foreigners. You gotta think, even Gabe Kidd is only just now like getting on the map of, it's only bust so hard. It's some stuff. This is 100% New Japan's fault. They was only even using, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Sorry, my fault. I completely forgot. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, New Japan just doesn't do right by juniors half the time. They were only flying him out and using him May and November for those last few tours for, Power Struggle, then Road to Tokyo Dome and stuff like that. And then obviously for the Best of Super Junior tournament and Super Junior Tag League. That was it. So yeah, he did honestly what I would have done. Just to be quite honest about it. And he'll still probably be involved in New Japan because he has a match this upcoming week at Windy City Riot in Chicago, which is going to be a lot of fun, teaming up with Kushida. But I think he's a really good fit for AEW right now. These are the type of young, hungry talents that they need to be signing. And I'm gonna be honest. Even like they had the tag match up later with him and Ospreay versus Lee Johnson and Blake Christian, and they announced that Kevin Knight versus Will Ospreay is actually going to be a dynasty. I like it, and you want to know why I like it? I like seeing black talent finally get what they're owed. This is and it's been a lot of talk of like, how they were offered him a performance center tryout. Like, no, that's bullshit. Of just like the people who come up through the dojo are honestly the best trained wrestlers in the world. And to say that you've already had proven success, and I just feel like that's insulting. I don't know. And those are just based off reports, so like the reports and what SRS has been posting. But I think this is a really good fit. And I like the fact that they're treating him in accordance with his experience. Kyle Fletcher and Aussie Open, they had won both tag belts in New Japan, and they had basically killed it all over the UK and Japan. And then they, when AEW signed them, they go straight to that gigantic 0-hour match at the first All In, wrestling MJF and Adam Cole. They got the rocket, and then once Mark Davis gets injured, Kyle Fletcher gets that solo push. Mariah May tore it up in Stardom, 99 matches in 9 months. She gets the rocket when she gets to AEW. She gets treated and invested in as a top talent. So I'm here for it. Eventually, I do need Kevin Knight to hurt people, with the Hurt Syndicate. That would be good. Yep. But this is really good. It's good to see Will Ospreay. I just need to know what we're doing with Will Ospreay. That's something that I know Dani would say if she was here. What are we doing with Will Ospreay? Obviously, he's going to be in the Owen. It looks like he's likely going to be in the final versus Hangman. And if it's up to me, he will be losing the Owen Cup, respectfully, because Hangman does need to win. So because of that, I just need us to do something else with Billy Goat. I will say, based on the way that Carl Anderson is talking lately, I think, and also with this whole Logan Paul stuff, the likelihood of Uncle Allen becoming all elite, I'm not going to lie, I kind of like my chances. I don't want to get too hype about it. I don't want to get too, I don't want to get too hype about it, but Uncle Allen might come on over. And if he does, then it just erase everything I said. That's going to be Ospreay's match all in, and we're all going to love it. It's going to be fantastic. Ospreay versus Mystico. Ooh, that would, especially for an all-in Texas match, that would resonate so much. And I think that would just speak so many volumes. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to say, I just hope we have something for Will Ospreay, because he can't have the Owen. So I do hope we have something for him, because he can't have it. Not this year, but next year in Wembley Stadium, bruh, when we're all in London, it's going to be amazing. Like, yeah, he's going to get the Owen, and he's going to win, and it's going to be awesome. He's going to get the moment. It's going to be perfect. So Will Ospreay, 2026 is already yours, but unfortunately, Hangman does have to win. But anyway, this is going to be a great opportunity for Kevin Knight. I love this. I love the tag match too. I will say this was a true spot fest and people doing flippy shit. And I feel like AEW has been so hyper conscious about that, because that's one of the criticisms that they had always gotten. And so I saw them pull back on it some more. So it's nice to see when they just go all out on it. So I'm a fan. Next, after that, what do we have? We had Toni. Well, I think I'm out of order, but who cares? Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford. Y'all know how I feel about Penelope Ford. Incredibly solid. Like, is she going to be a world champion? No, but is she solid? And she is like carried the mid card absolutely lately. Toni is so funny, so great. But Megan Bayne, I want to talk about you. Megan Bayne, I want to fold clothes for you. I want to build houses with my bare hands. For you. Wow. All I could sit there and say was, oh my God. Wow. Ugh. You know what I do enjoy about AEW is that the girls are very much baddies, but they also get down. in the ring. Like, you know, like they are allowed to wrestle. It's like they actually wrestle on a regular basis. It's not just, oh, looking and posing or a whole bunch of talking. Like they actually wrestle regularly and good. You know, it's the top stars are really top stars. Yes, please be safe, Chloe, during tornado season. It's awful. But Megasis, wow. May your crops always be watered. And wow. What a woman. Next, oh yeah, we found out about Jay White. Shout out to Jay White. Listen, I know a lot of people feel certain ways about his wrestling, but one, you know, you never want anybody to get injured, but he's gotten a lot of bad luck when it comes to injuries. And no, it just really sucks. Like I think about it now, like his AEW run, he's been hit with so much bad luck. And so I really hope that after he comes back from this injury, things turn around for him because, brother, whoo, man, I hate this for him. I do. I hate this for him because I don't think he's bad. I actually think he is an A-tier wrestler. The problem is he's on a roster with multiple S-tier wrestlers. That's really it. Like, that's really it. It's just so unfortunate. Oh my God, is that? Oh my God, is that?
Hello.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
She's back.
Oh my God, I'm so famous. I just came to say hi. I have to save my battery because, like, when I say this tornado's real as fuck. This tornado's real as fuck. Yeah, Brittany, say hi to the Dynamite Diaries. Yeah, this one's for real. But I just wanted to say hi. And that Osprey Kevin Knight makes me happy. Hangman and Swerve, it's finally time to kiss. What else? And I love Kenny Omega. That's all.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, you can't get much better than that.
That's all I got for you guys. But yeah, I just want to say hi. I do have to save my battery, but I will say the trenches. But I'll see you next week.
Alrighty. Bye. Wow, folks. You truly never know who's going to show up here. You really never know who's going to show up. I wasn't expecting that. She just popped on. That was really cool. Where was I? Yeah, we were talking about Jay White. But yeah, good luck to him. Next, we had. I'll go through the matches before, and I'll say the women last. I'll say because that's all. That's all kind of connected. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Listen, him trying to join this organization makes me laugh so hard. But also, I just want to know where this goes. I think hopefully it leads to, you know, a new member being revealed. I do think it's funny though. I do think it's funny. Yeah. What? I don't know. But at least the Hurt Syndicate is also mixing it up with Big Bill and Brian Keith, and so I'm excited that match was announced for Dynasty. I think that those two have been fantastic lately. Like they've been legitimately fantastic lately, and they've really kind of like come out from underneath the Jericho shadow and really been doing their own thing, and so I'm really grateful for that. Hurt Syndicate. I don't think it's a problem. But I think we've talked about this before because they introduced Shelton Benjamin first and they let him wrestle so often and really dazzle folks, right? And then Bobby Lashley came at later and he hasn't wrestled as much. I do think that I don't know, of just in the order of importance in the Hurt Syndicate as it currently stands, Bobby's doesn't feel like the leader. And I think like they trying to act like he's a leader. He feels equal, you know, like I don't even feel like, but he doesn't feel like, you know, the centerpiece that they're trying to make him seem like. They all seem like three badass, really cool, great guys, right? Who like really get it done. But I'm not sure, like, as a centerpiece, he makes sense. Like, it feels like, oh, like he's our nomination. You know how every faction like has like a nomination to be in like the world title picture. I'm not sure if Bobby Lashley would make sense right now. And I'm not saying that Shelton Benjamin even fits in that role, but they need to add another member and somebody that can genuinely be that star for them, or at least make it feel like that. I don't know. I don't know. But him working with MJF, who knows? Like I said, this could be really interesting. Right now, it's funny. I'm entertained. So we'll just stay with that for right now. I also want to say this too. How many? One, two, three, four, five, six. That was six, seven if you include Nanas. 7 black men on screen tonight. How many black men are wrestling on Dynasty? 5? 5 black men wrestling on Dynasty? Time for some conversations. There's been a lot of talk on the internet lately. Swerve, Booker T stuff, etc. But I think that numbers don't lie. And I'm not even saying like, oh my gosh, AEW is so amazing and WWE is so bad. Listen, any of these companies at any given moment can change exactly what they're doing. And that could be for positive reasons. That could be for negative reasons. But at the same time, it comes down to one of those things of the talent is 100% there, and never let anybody, I don't care if they're white, black, I don't care if they're a CEO or wrestler, never let any of these people convince you that main event level black talent is not available and that they're not there and that there's nobody to choose from. Never let anybody tell you that, and never take anybody who says that seriously. Is there? And never let anybody tell you that you have to settle for crumbs, because this is the bare minimum. This is how it should be. Mix like, and so yeah, some conversations need to be had. Some conversations need to be had. Montez Ford should have had a singles push a long time ago. He should have had a singles push coming out of that elimination chamber that he was in. And I remember everybody was like, oh, yeah, he's next up. And he stole the show and climbed the cage and flew. And everybody was like, he should have had a push, honestly. And even if it was for just, commercial reasons, he should have had a push when him and Bianca did that reality show. Even if it was just putting the tag belts on him. Yeah, you don't think that would have made sense? You don't think that would have made perfect sense if you recording this couple and making them like, a center of a reality show? And you don't think it would have been cool if they had both been champions? Both were able to represent the company in that capacity? I don't think that would have been cool. I don't know, man. He did. He bulked just like Swerve did too. He did. He got in top form. He got his body together. His promos are good. Where's the push? And it's one of those things to where I even if I don't like the company, I always root for black talent to win. I think Naomi is doing some of the best work she's ever been able to do, right? Like, I think that Bianca Belair is one of the greats ever, like one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Like, hello, I keep that thing on me. I think highly of so many of these wrestlers. I think Montez Ford is a star. I think Angelo Dawkins is so much better than people let themselves on to be. Like, the New Day was foundational growing up. But it gets to a point to where you got to look at the writing on the wall. And yes, podcasts are speaking into that mic for clickbaits and headlines, but the real no, everybody understands what's up. Everybody, especially black people in wrestling, we all know what's up. We've been here long enough. We know what's going on. We know what's going on. And guess what? Young black talent deciding their future, they know what's going on too. People don't dream of NXT. That's not the WrestleMania moment to push. That's not what people dream of. That's not the dream. WrestleMania is the dream. Nobody's dreaming of North American titles and wrestling Ricky Starks in a warehouse. That's not the dream. The dream is WrestleMania. And think about how many people are actually getting converted. And think about the conversion rate of to people to top star. How long is it taking? And getting them to even on the main roster, period, and what they're doing once they're getting there. Look at Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker are on two completely different sides. Two completely different sides of the book. Nobody dreaming of the Performance Center, bro. Nobody is dreaming of Stand and Deliver. Maybe the women, simply because of what NXT has done for women's wrestling and has meant historically to women's wrestling, especially in the in the 2010s and the late 2010s and 2020s. Maybe the women. That's why it makes sense for a Stephanie Vacker or a Jordan Grace or a Julia. It makes sense for them to not mind going to NXT because of, like for right now, as a woman, that's the best place to be. But for a man, nobody's dreaming of that Performance Center. And now the Performance Center is now being taken over by the guys who weren't really being booked in AEW. That's who you're competing with now. You're not competing with the young guys, like especially think about somebody like Kevin Knight, right? You come in 9 times out of 10, what's the first belt that they're going to have you contend for? Is the NXT North American Championship. You're not contending with Javon Evans. You're not contending with Obafemi. You're not contending with Trick. You're not like with the big horses. You're gonna be stuck with Ricky Starks. That's gonna be what you do. So good. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but you have somebody in their 30s who is trying to level up their career. And it's completely different from being in your 20s and really trying to establish your career. And everybody does what's best for them. But I think that specifically for Black men, even when you look at even the vets, the older talent, like the Hurt Syndicate, some interesting conversations going to need to be had. And I think a lot of people, podcasters, or people with agendas, and people who have always believed in that wrestling is a certain way and have this loyalty, they're going to believe what they want to, and they're going to tell you it's a bad idea. And they're going to tell you that being in catering is better than being AEW World Champion. There are some people who are going to tell you that sitting in AEW and WWE catering is better than being AEW World Champion. And to those people, you just got to let them talk. But even no matter what the internet discourse saying, know what the talent, it's very clear that actual Black man talent are having a discussion. It's very clear on both sides of the aisle. Do what you want with that information. Do what you want, but it's been very clear, especially over this past year. And everybody even talking about, I can't stand Swerve as a person. I can't stand Swerve as a person. I don't even think you have to think when a lot of this talent, they don't care about Swerve as a person. They care about what Swerve represents. They saw him go to a company and in 2 years was able to convert that into a world championship. 2 years from signing to winning, 2 years to franchise of the company, 2 years. Most Black talent not getting that. They saw what Mercedes did. People are having a conversation. Even Montez and them, like they could, like even being able to at least, okay, if you ain't gonna push me as a singles wrestler, I better get them tag belts, because now you have that negotiating power on the other side of the aisle to tell them, I know if I go here, I'm gonna be treated like somebody, and you don't want me to go here. And so, I mean, it's negotiating power on both sides. Everybody has more power now, or at least they should. So yeah, I think that was just really important to talk about real briefly. But Brody King and Lance Archer had a good one. I love big men. I love big men graps. Love those guys. They're fantastic. I can't ask for two better people who do better things for big man wrestling. All right, cool. So let's get into it. I'm gonna do the Owen stuff, and then we're gonna head out because, believe it or not, I never ate today. And I should probably do that. I don't know how I forgot. Oh wait, no, I did eat earlier, but super earlier at the beginning of the day. So I need to do that. But anyway, same thing with Ricochet. Enter Ricochet into the picture. He's 100% an example. And so you can believe the internet chatter what you want to, or and believe that. Guess what? There are less people listening to the Booker T's of the world than you think. Way less. Way less. I did see the collision card. But we got the Owen Foundation stuff. I don't know why I said stuff. Anyway, we got the brackets. And so on the women's side, we have Jamie Hayter, Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa, and Chris Statlander on one side. And on the opposite side, we have Julia Hart, Mercedes Moné, Harley Cameron, and Athena. It was announced that there's going to be a preview tag this weekend on Collision. It's going to be Julia Hart and Athena versus Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron. That should be a hoot. I'm excited. It's going to be Mercedes' first tag match. And also, it's pretty clear that at least the semifinals, who's going to the semifinals, is going to be Jamie versus Statlander, and it's going to be Mercedes versus Athena. Listen, I know I'm fine with Harley being in the ON. Julia, she's not a pick that I would have put in the ON, but based off the wins that she's got, it made sense. Listen, I don't think that Willow should be in it. Do you see any other former winners in it? Former winners are typically not in the Owen. Former winners are not typically in the Owen. And I don't know. We have to remind ourselves she was not the one who was able to get a title shot of it. It was just the Owen back then. But yeah. She's a former winner. Why would she be in the Owen? Don't get me wrong, they could have changed the rules at any point. But honestly, I need Willow to do something else right now. I think that her story to the world title, she's going to have to probably go through Mercedes, or she's going to have to go through somebody that she has history with, like Athena, or and honestly, I think that she has unfinished business with the TBS title. I genuinely do. I think she's one person who has unfinished business with that. And see, I have a plan. My goal, I want Willow to win a women's casino gauntlet at All In. That's my goal. My goal is to see her do that. I want her to do that. I want a women's casino gauntlet, because I'm trying to think of, at most, maybe 3 women's matches on the card. Maybe 4. Maybe 4 at most I see for All In. But more likely 3. And I'm okay, if we get the 2 title matches, and we'll probably get Toni versus Jamie, how do we get more women on the card? Casino gauntlet. And who needs to win? Willow Nightingale. Makes perfect sense. And so, yeah, I'm down with that. But I think that it's probably going to be Mercedes versus Stat. And I know some people are just why is there Mercedes and Athena wrestling like this, wrestling in the Owen? And I think that they're fumbling it. I think that y'all got to understand. I hate to say this, and I don't like defending anybody like AEW or men, but this is one thing I think y'all genuinely have to let them cook. This is what match series look like. You have to give to get. Somebody's going to have to lose up front, but you don't need any of them to lose their titles right now. You need Athena needs to lose that Ring of Honor belt to a Ring of Honor wrestler, or at least on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. That's what she needs to lose that. And I think that Mercedes specifically needs to lose Mercedes needs to advance, because Mercedes needs to be the one to lose to Chris Statlander. Mercedes needs to lose to Chris Statlander before All In, but she can't be in that All In match for the world title because she still needs to be TBS champion. Mercedes does not need to do double duty. That's honestly would be kind of awful for the division. Like, I'm all for belt collector Mercedes, and I think that they've done it in a way that really hasn't taken away from the other women. But this is the real chance to be able to do something special with her and do something special with everybody else too. And I think that the person that needs to beat Toni needs to be a homegrown star. I genuinely think it needs to be a homegrown star. And I think Chris Statlander has more than earned it. I think Chris Statlander is the perfect person for it. It makes sense with her story arc. And it allows Mercedes to take a loss to Chris and not lose her championship. Because she needs to stay champion. Because Athena needs to become TBS champion at All In. It seems a little convoluted right now. I get it, guys. Like, it seems a little convoluted right now, but honestly, Athena has been off AEW television so long for that match at All In to feel as big and be presented as big as it is, they have to start early. They need to start wrestling each other now and do a legitimate trilogy and get people involved. And I'm all for it. So, and I think them meeting in the Owen, that's how it is. You got Ospreay and Hangman wrestling, don't you? You got Ospreay and Takeshita who go wrestle in the Owen, don't you? Hangman and Cloud Fletcher, you have the biggest stars on the men's side. This is how it is. Somebody got to take losses. And also, losses make ways for wins, you know? Mercedes, and also the thing is, Mercedes is not going to go in a feud with Athena and just lose clean 24/7. She has to lose. She has to win now so Athena can win later. And you can protect both of them as best as possible and make them both look strong like they should. Who does Athena face for her title at the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view? I think it's Billy. I think Billy is somehow involved in the Mercedes-Athena finish that gets Mercedes to win. And I think that third time could be the charm at Super Card of Honor. And I think that angry Athena, because the thing is, to keep the feud going after this, she needs to be angry. And nothing will make her angrier and with a bigger chip on her shoulder than losing a Super Card of Honor. And I think you can use that Death Before Dishonor, honestly, to build somebody else. But yeah, I think she needs to lose a Super Card of Honor. And I think she needs to lose to Billy. Third time's the charm. But yeah, I'm actually a fan of how this goes. Love that Mercedes is doing a preview tag. I love that even her and Harley, and I love Harley to stop doing that hologram shit. We don't need to do that. And I think that's the problem. Y'all be putting your thoughts and stuff on social media and you just be joking, but Tony Khan be looking through and be like, oh yeah, let me write this down. No, wrong. Absolutely not. We done. No. But last but certainly not least, we have the men Owen Hart Cup. And so the participants for that are on the left side. We have Will Ospreay, Kevin Knight, Brody King, Konosuke Takeshita. And on the right side, we have Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, Hangman Page, and a wild card. Yeah. Y'all. I know there's a lot of thoughts of who the wild card could be. Some people think it could be Josh Alexander. Some people think it could be Darby. I doubt it. Some people, I don't know. It could be a whole bunch of people, but I think, like Jayla said, Hangman versus Kyle semifinal moves me deeply. Ospreay versus Takeshita being on free TV is crazy. It's probably gonna be a spring breakthrough. The wild card could also be MJF. That makes sense. Like the matches, keep in mind, Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher's first match was fantastic. So I'm all for seeing them run it up. Like, we're eating regardless. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. We're so back. Like I said, we just got to find Ospreay something to do. But Hangman Page, you will win the Owen. Hangman Page, the world does belong to you. Hangman Page, this is your time. Hangman Page, And I will say a lot of y'all, I want to talk to the girlies for a little bit. I want to talk to the elite girlies because a lot of y'all, I'm gonna be honest, y'all were talking crazy. A lot of y'all were talking real crazy. You were talking greasy. You said that, oh, it's never going to happen. Oh, I'm giving up. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I did, like, he's not going to get it. They hate him. And I told you it didn't matter what the booking said. It didn't matter what the booker said. It didn't matter what all this said, because his talent, he was going to shine so bright and become so undeniable to where the people will put him in his rightful place at the top of the promotion that he was always meant to inherit. All In was always meant to be his inheritance. All Elite Wrestling was always meant to be his inheritance. And I want to shout out to all the people who stayed faithful, who stayed true during that time, because we're so back. We've never been more back. All the Hangman Swerve truthers from last year, we have been vindicated. We have been exalted. We have been finally promoted to our proper place in the history books of professional wrestling. At the top is one of the greatest rivalries of all time. And what's going to really put the cherry on top, at least for this act, because they're going to do this for the rest of their careers, and they're going to finally compete for the world championship. And when you think about it and talk about, oh yes, who else would Hangman ever win it from? Who would it mean the most to win it from? And at this point, with the way that the way they go, behind the scenes, he's probably excited to do it for him. He's probably excited to do it for him at this point. After what they built, and let's just be real, Swerve never becomes world champion or world champion level in the first place without Hangman laying on his back as many times as he did. And the best thing about this rivalry has always been how it's been mutually beneficial to the both of them. And for Swerve, yeah, it's time to look up at the lights, brother. And I will say, Swerve Strickland is one of the rare wrestlers who's good enough to go into an all-in main event 2 years in a row and still have matches so classic that you can lose and people think of you even more highly than they did when you were the champion. We saw, and I think that's also the thing with Danielson of, Swerve's reign should have been cut that short. There's a lot of different opinions on that. But there is also no debate that with the reign that he had and the matches that he produced one of the most memorable world title reigns in wrestling in the past, 10 years? At least 10? At least 10? You got to think, Swerve has two instant classics, all-timer classics. Two instant all-timers from a 4-month reign? The match with Ospreay and the match with Bryan Danielson. Two of the greatest matches we've ever seen. Come on, let's just be real. Let's just be real. Swerve is also now bigger. Don't get me wrong, a long title reign would be desirable, sure, at some point, but Swerve is also bigger than the title at this point. You hear them cheers? You hear these people? And I know it because even when he slips up, the crowd is into it. He slips on promos and he might fumble his words or whatever, or something might not go right, and the crowd gets louder. They cheer harder. They're really invested. You just can't get around it. And my thing is, and I just don't have a complacent spirit. I just don't believe in taking the title off Mox, of keeping it on him just because we already here. Might as well get there. No, you should always be operating at maximum level efficiency. You should not give any breaks in your game. You should not give up. You should not be giving up any points on the scoreboard. You should never, especially as an alternative promotion, and you got to sell tickets, because guess what? Here's the thing. I'm about to say something that's really going to shake you. If the Mox versus Darby story and the Death Rider story was compelling, the ticket sales would have already increased for All In. Because everybody knows that's where the original story was heading. That's basically, they, like, here's the thing. They 100%, I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like they didn't lay it out. They 100% laid it out exactly what was supposed to happen. It just didn't resonate. And if people wanted it, them tickets would have started moving. But suddenly, these last few weeks, we get Hangman and Swerve. They're looking at each other again. You see how these ticket sales are starting to move? You saw that commercial drop. You see how these ticket sales are starting to move? Oh. You know? Because that's what the people want to see. Like, that's what the people want to see. Like, and I think even at this point, it's bigger than the World Championship. This is the defining rivalry. This is the defining rivalry. Hangman Swerve carried the company, what was left of it, through that bottom half of the MJF title reign. That was awful. Carried it through the Death Rider stuff. It's still compelling, still carrying when the company's at its lowest. Even last year, while it was low, the one defining thing that's really keeping people captivated, their rivalry. It's bigger than that. Like, it's so much bigger than, oh my gosh, like, whoa, Swerve, like, let's just be real. Swerve will not be hurt at all by losing the Hangman in the main event of All In. It's actually going to make him a bigger star. Let's just be real. Let's just be for real. They're looking at each other again. That you deserved it, I know. Listen, I only watched it once because I knew that if I had started watching it again before I got on the stream, I would have never got on the stream. So that'll be exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch it again and again and again. Thank you very much. Here's the thing. I still think that this feud is Toni and Mariah was great. And I think that is a top 5 AEW feud for sure. Hell, maybe even top 3. But nothing's touching Hangman Swerve, respectfully. Nothing. And the reason why is because they never missed at all. They still haven't. They've never had a dull moment. They've never had a slow moment. They've never had a bad moment. They've never had a match that was under, 4.5? Maybe? Never. Never. Every match is legitimately great, if not excellent. Like, legitimately, they have functioned on sustained greatness. Like, and here's the thing, I don't even want to blame Toni and Mariah for all of it. Like, because a lot of it was due to booking or whatever, but Hangman Swerve been on, they foot been on the gas, like for the entire time. Like, there's been no dull moments. There's been no weak. And here's the thing, they've also, in the future they've had in between, those were gas as well. Now, the only exception might be Hangman with Jay White. But even so, Hangman was still fantastic. And I think he did the best with Jay White at that point. And I think that Jay White came out of that looking fantastic. And it's what even put him back in the world title picture. So they've had genuinely excellent roles. And I want to say even bigger credit to Hangman, because Swerve has been working legitimate top guys basically the entire time of the feud. Hangman got pushed with like people at the bottom of the card and was making lemons out of lemonade. Except for maybe that Jeff Jarrett match at Grand Slam, which I didn't like. But that was really it. He had a feud with Christopher Daniels, and it was better than what a lot of top guys are producing versus each other on TV every week. You know? I don't know. Hey, man, made MJF go to work again. I don't know what to tell you. He's really him. We're really back. He's been doing charity work. But I think also Swerve has as well, in the sense of putting guys over. Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate don't look like killers and don't get over the way they do if Swerve doesn't lose. Ricochet doesn't become Ricochet if Swerve doesn't lose. And that's the truth. That's the truth. I don't know, y'all. It's earned, beyond earned. We're so back. I still do need that tag run. Do need that tag run. I do need that tag run. Yes, I do. I do need it. Not no one off. Nope. I need a run. I need a run. I need a run. But yeah, guys, we're so back. I think that Hangman needs to win the Owen. Hangman versus Ospreay would be my final. If you really want to pop me, hell, Hangman versus Takeshita, but please, I know I'm not getting that, but gosh. Speaking of Takeshita, next week is Windy City Riot. This weekend is Sakura Genesis. He's gonna be facing Real Hey Oiwa, which I'm so excited about. And Sakura Genesis is actually, it's a lot of consequential stuff that's gonna be going on. I'm actually really interested to see who wins between Goto and Finley. Windy City Riot next week. We also find out next week who's going to be the number one contender to the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So that's going to be Mina Shirakawa versus Azumi. I'm super excited. Lots of exciting stuff across the board. The Collision card looks fantastic. Brother, Collision, I love you. These Collision cards lately have just been blessing me to infinity. Bro, like, why is Hobbs teaming up with Ishii versus Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita? Like, huh? We got Speedball versus Jalisco, and Jalisco's actually been good lately. Plus, we have the preview tag with Mercedes and Harley versus Julia and Athena. We're eating, like, the girls are teasing each other. We're still back. I don't know. I couldn't possibly be more back. And also, All In Week was just announced. I don't know if anybody's going. I plan to go. We'll see if these tariffs let me go. No, I'm couch surfing in Dallas, so it should probably be fine. But that's going to be Dallas in Collision on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday is Death Before Dishonor for Ring of Honor, and then Friday and Saturday are going to be StarCast, and then Saturday is going to be All In. So shout out to all the girlies and guys and non-binaries who will be in attendance. If you see me, please come say hi. I'm actually really excited. I know some people talking about after parties and stuff, and that's cool, but where's the tailgates? I think we need the tailgate, guys. I think it's going to be fun. But I'm super excited. And I think the AEW is moving in the right direction. But like I said before, it all hinges on this weekend. Everything hinges on Dynasty. Everything hinges on Dynasty and Swerve winning the world title. Shout out to Kenny Omega for being the best ever. Got Speedball versus Ricochet this week. So yeah, that's it. I'm super excited, guys. I actually don't think any title changes on the card except for, no, I'm lying. I think both world title matches are the only wild card title changes. No, I'm a liar. Never mind. I think TNT Championship definitely changes hands. I think Adam Cole wins. But the world cards, the world titles, I genuinely don't know. I would switch them both, actually. I would switch both of them. I would have Megan Bayne win because I think that, I don't know, Megan Bayne versus Chris Stat, that's a built-in story, and I think that there will be a lot of symmetry in losing to Mercedes twice and losing to Megan twice and beating Mercedes and finally getting the confidence to beat Megan for the world title. I think that there's a lot of symmetry in that. And I think that Toni is such a big star now. You need her to do something non-title to make people care about non-title women's feuds. And I think that Toni can do that, and Jamie Hayter deserves that. Jamie needs that. That's the story that needs to happen. Where's the Continental title? I don't know. But I trust Okada. He's chilling. They're about to wheel him out real soon as we get closer, because we about to start to build him and Kenny soon. So I'm not even tripping on Big Kazu. Not tripping on Big Kazu, Cash Money Kazu at all. He'll be back real soon, and we about to get to real big business. Oh, the only other thing, one last thing. Bring back my Young Bucks. I need the Young Bucks back. Like, so serious. And if I don't hear something, I'm assuming that they either gonna come back on either a Dynasty or Spring Breakthrough. But yeah, bring back my Young Bucks. I do need that. I need them back. I need that super kick partay. I need that. But if they wait until Double or Nothing, I'm going to be really pissed. But also, if they wait until Double or Nothing, that means that, if the limited dates thing on their contract is true, they will have not used any of them. So, like, if they start like mid through the year, we're going to get the Bucks like nonstop. And so maybe I prefer that. Like, maybe I prefer that rather than having them like on and then gone for a few weeks and then on, then going for a few weeks. So, and the thing is, I know they're in top form. They did 2 New Japan matches that were really good. And it was great in Japan. And I'm sure they're going to, now that they're doing stuff with New Japan, I wouldn't be shocked if they're on the Strong Style Evolved card and Walter Pyramid. So this year. So who knows? Bring my Young Bucks back. But until next time, you'll find me at Lyric Wrestling. This week makes my 2-year anniversary in wrestling, which is so fun and crazy to think about. It's kind of insane. Yeah, hope that Dani doesn't get swept away by a tornado. Hope that I don't either. Fun, guys. This has been cool. Thanks for hanging out with me. My mouth is so dry from being the only one talking. But thank you to the chat who's been so helpful and making me feel like I'm not alone today. I will say I didn't feel like I was alone talking at all. And so I really appreciate you guys. But I'll see you next week. Yeah, next week, because that's before I go out of town. I shall talk to you later. Bye.